My youngest son noticed that during this month, the month of May, there's a lot of allergies and sicknesses and things like that going on. So I told my youngest son, I said, good observation, because another month where a lot of allergies and asthma attacks and all sorts of things happen is the month of October. And the month of October, just so you know, is the month where the most asthmatic deaths, or people that have asthma, do pass away from major asthma attacks, is the month of October. I learned about that about a year or two ago. I was really surprised. I was like, wow, I didn't know that. So just take precautions. But anyway, I hope you're feeling fine. This is the month of May. I know that you may have a lot of allergies going on. Hopefully not. But if I sound a little stuffy, that's why. I have a lot of allergies and things going on right now. Not just me, my youngest son, my oldest son, my middle son, just slightly, but not as much. Okay, so anyway, this video is going to be about the narcissism is all in their questions. And when I say questions, of course, I mean the questions that you are asked after they've even known you for a short while or a long while. So I'm going to give you somewhat of a rundown, right? So say hypothetically, you were married to someone very toxic and it was abusive. You were very unhappy. I don't care if you left 10 people and you had 10 marriages. If you left those people for very valid reasons, other than just I don't love them anymore. They were cheating, they were abusive, they did not want to pitch in their fair share, they were on the down low, they were gay, they were chronic cheaters, they had diseases that they didn't tell you about, they had other wives and husbands that you didn't know about. Just, it's so many reasons you could leave people. You found out he or she is a child molester. They brutally raped you. Whatever the reason is, there's so many different reasons to leave people, other than just they left their house shoes at the front door. Okay, so when I say the narcissism is in their questions, it basically means, for me, some of the things I just named. Someone in your life, friend or relative, could know all of the things that person did to you. But see, you got to remember, when you leave a narcissist, you will be judged. And not always in a good way, right? Especially if the narcissist had something financial to provide or add to your life. So say hypothetically, when you divorced or ended things with the narcissist, when you were with the narcissist, you owned a home. Yet in that home, you were beat up, your children were being molested, all these toxic things. Your narcissist was on substance abuse, even if they just were a functional drinker. This person got drunk, beat you up. This person was beating on your elderly mom. It's so many different things that can be going on with these people, right? So you get out of that situation. The friends or family members tend to support or show fake support for what you did. They're saying things like, yeah, you didn't deserve to be treated that way. It's good you got out of that. Okay, so that's what is going to happen at first. However, life moves on. So many years go by. You never was able to buy a house or that Mercedes that you had, or you never were able to afford the private school that your kids were in. Whatever went on. There's always going to be pros and cons. However, typically in an abusive situation, there could be a lot of financial pros, but that one big con that is so horrific, like you being beat up, could eventually make you end your life, okay? Or not end your life. Your life could be ended by the narcissist, right? So your life moves on. You get out of that toxic situation. For some people, it's going to be many toxic situations or a few of them that you'll get out of, or maybe more. And people, other narcissistic people, will notice that, hey, she or he keeps leaving these situations, right? So over time, they will begin to think that you're the problem. And you are, because you consistently got into relationships with narcissists. However, you didn't really know what it was. You thought that you were building genuine relationships. You didn't even know what the link is. You're just now figuring this out, right? So you move on and you have a new life, because many, many years has passed and you have a new life. Your new life may not include some of the things that you may have had with the narcissist. Okay, so there will come a time when you will receive questions. The narcissism is in their questions. So many years go by and you never remarried. You may even be a single mom or dad. And someone comes out of the blue and asks, well, would you take him back? And you're thinking to yourself, who? Would I take who back? Because you are almost in a disbelief that someone will be bold enough to ask you a question like that. Like I said, the narcissism is in their questions. So they may say, well, your ex-wife or your ex-husband. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to kind of get sidetracked. I don't know if you know about, I think her name is Christy Sheets and Jason Sheets. It's spelled just like Sheets. I think it's either Sheats or Sheets. She murdered both of her adult daughters to get back at her husband, Jason Sheets. Okay. And it would be like asking Jason Sheets. He's now remarried. He ended up getting remarried many, many years ago. However, he does have to suffer grief on and off for the rest of his life because his two adult daughters, his biological daughters, were murdered by his wife, right? It would be like me going to Jason Sheets and asking him, would you take her back? Now, his ex-wife murdered his adult daughters. I mean, my soul, when I saw the video of how in shock he was, it's horrible. It's just like that. Like, if I was to ask him that, the narcissism would be in my question. Okay, so just giving you an example. So going back to what I was just saying. Okay, so many, many years go by and you get this question. Would you take him back? Would you take her back? and you're thinking, the person that beat on me, the person that raped my kids, the person that burned my house down, the person that threw my 2-year-old off the top of a building and broke his or her neck. I mean, you got to remember, a lot of people that leave narcissists, and I have left narcissists, and I am going to testify to this. I left narcissists for very valid reasons. It was almost like it's no other way to do this. So it doesn't matter to me. I don't care what I lost when I left a narcissist, whether it be some kids, a house, a vehicle, whatever it was that I lost. One thing that's not completely gone, that we always or sometimes may overlook, one thing that's not completely gone is your mind and your life. You're still alive, okay? And we oftentimes underestimate the true danger of these situations and how sometimes you could be dead if you would have stayed with these people. You could have been dead. You could have been in a mental institution. You could have gotten poisoned by these people. You could have ended up so depressed. You ended up on some drugs. Who knows? So the narcissism is in their questions. You will be flabbergasted at some of these questions. And see, this is what it shows, especially if you're asked that question by someone that actually knows what the narcissist did to you. And basically, you may not be married again. You may not have replaced certain things that you had with the narcissist, like owning a home or something like that. But this person knows. This is narcissistic person that's asking you this toxic question, this disrespectful question, this heartless question, this invalidating question, this stupid question, this senseless question, this ignorant ass question, because that is what that is when they ask you some bullshit like that. And I try not to curse on my videos, but I just did. Sorry. Okay, so when they do that, the narcissism is in the question. So this is what they're saying when they ask you this. First of all, it's an attack on your character. Even if they don't realize that that's what they're trying to do, it's subconscious. So what they're saying is, when someone asks you, would you go back to someone that they know has brought you pure terror? They terrorized your life. You went through 9/11 in your own house. You didn't even need to be on the airplane when it got blown up. You went through it when you was with the narcissist you left. It was 9/11 for you. So the first thing that the toxic narcissistic person is doing is they're not validating your decision. They're not respecting your decision. They're also on the low saying that your new life ain't better than your old life. Because you got to remember, narcissistic people do this too, right? They focus on one area. So your new life may be that you don't own a home and you're not married and you're a single mom. Or you are in a nursing home right now. or you're roommating with your cousins or an old friend from school. So what narcissistic people do when you leave narcissists, they judge you. So they kind of are scaling up your new life because they're looking for your new life to be in great abundance. And it is. Your new life is in great abundance if you left the terrorist attack. However, narcissistic people, they stay zoned in on one area of your life. So they may be zoned in with, oh, she's not married again. But they don't see or look at the bad list of things that was going on when you were with the narcissist that was your terrorist. So in this instance, let's call your narcissist that you left your terrorist. So look at all, okay, so what? You're not remarried again and you're renting. You're not sitting there with no black eye no more. Your nose ain't broke again. You're not on crutches again because the narcissist has knocked you down for the 15th million time. For a matter of fact, you're not back in jail because you had to stab the narcissist in self-defense again. And the narcissist calls and tells the police that he or she is the victim. So see, in my case, I have the ability to read between the lines, right? So when I know that people left situations and left narcissists for valid reasons, what I do is I try to find the good in their life that's going on right now. So say, for example, they're elderly and they left their narcissist many years ago. Well, at least they're elderly and they're not being abused. At least they're not put in a nursing home and being beat up because the narcissist had the control still and put them there. But narcissistic people won't do that with you. And the narcissism will be right in their questions. So you can respond. I mean, it depends on how it's asked. I was on the call, so to speak. And the narcissism is in their questions. Let me tell you something else about narcissists that I have noticed big time. Especially if you done whooped a couple of their butts, whether it be you was married to their narcissist relative or whatever. But I'm gonna tell you something about them too. They don't ask you that bullshit in person. They love to ask you those questions over the phone or in an environment where you're in public with a lot of people around. Because when they ask you these senseless, stupid, hateful ass questions, because that is hateful. I'm sorry. Some of the questions that narcissists will ask you about returning to your abusive ass past, those are very hateful questions. Because what they're also saying to you is this: they don't wish you well. They're really saying to you this: they're jealous of your new situation and they're not comfortable with you not being in that terrorist attack. Because you got to remember, somebody that asks you certain questions, especially questions like that, they don't wish you well. And you need to accept that and acknowledge that. And when I say accept it, I don't mean think it's okay. I don't mean stay around for more of the questions, but you got to validate your own self. So those type of questions that narcissists ask you, they're very invalidating and they're very disrespectful of your decisions that you have made. They're basically like taking your power from you. If you'd have left one narcissist, 2, 5, 10, 15, I don't care how many narcissists you have left, that is a powerful move. Especially if you at the point when I'm at right now, where I am at right now. Let me tell you something. When you don't have them around you, they not in your house, they not calling your phone every day, that is when more of your power, and it's not just power, because that's what narcissistic people and narcissists want. That is when you are courageous. It is very courageous. And you have a whole lot of courage and heart and soul when you can walk away from a narcissist. And one reason you have heart and soul is because if you're not a narcissist, you had to walk away from somebody that you really loved. You love that narcissist. However, the reason you're courageous is because you had to find a spot where you loved yourself enough to put yourself first. So remember, the narcissism will always be in their questions. And I'm not speaking about the questions that the old narcissist would have asked you. They wasn't asking you no questions. They too busy punching you in your eye, cussing you out. They don't even communicate well enough to take the patience and time to ask you questions. I'm talking about the narcissist or narcissistic people that will be asking you these questions many, many years later after you have recovered and moved on with your life, because now your new life is being judged. And remember, narcissistic people, they have a hard time finding value in their own life, let alone yours. So they're just gonna stay zoned in on that one thing that you don't have. And they're always gonna overlook all the bad stuff that you no longer have when you were with that terrorist. If you leave an abuser and he is laying his hands on you, or she is laying her hands on you, and you get out of that situation, I don't care if you never have sexual intercourse again. I don't care if you're never intimate with anyone up until the day you die. And you live an additional 50 years, you're still in a better position. You're never in a better position staying with someone that physically, emotionally, and sexually, and financially, and spiritually abuses you. You are never in a better position. I would advise you, when you hear the narcissism in their questions, stay clear of their karma. Stay clear of their karma. I'm telling you, because they got it coming to them. And I'm not wishing it on them, but people that make fun and make light of the abuse that you went through and are bold enough to ask you, and they have so much hatred and judgment for the struggle that you went through, and they're bold enough to ask you something like that, would you return to that situation? And you're now in a situation where you're not being brutally beat up, or harmed or raped or whatever happened to you, their karma is very dangerous. And you don't want to be in the midst of it. Stay clear of it. Because the reason their karma is so dangerous is because their soul ain't right. Why would someone that had the proper soul, that's preparing their soul for a heaven with the Most High, even consider that question? I wouldn't ask that of anybody. If you told me one time that you was in a marriage and he pushed you down and you hit your head on the wall, and that happened one time, and you tell me that you got out of that situation before you got yourself shot or ran over by a vehicle that he was driving in front of your driveway, I couldn't even fathom asking you, would you return to it? Also, the narcissism is in their questions. Those are sick people. Those people have a serious mental problem. I'm telling you, certain questions people ask you, they got a freaking mental problem, y'all. Stay clear of it. If they're elderly, don't cuss them out when they ask it. Just, you got to remember, you got what you call mammies, mews, and what's that other name? Battle axes or whatever. You got all these different terms they use for these old school, sick-minded freaking women. They just sick. They so stuck on, you gotta have a man at all costs. These are the type of women, mammies, they sit up and they watch their daughters' husbands abuse them. A mammy will sit up and watch her daughter's husband pull a AK and be taken up for the man. So remember, a lot of these mammies, they contribute to a lot of institutionalized abuse for the sake of the family income. Don't forget that. A lot of them are financially driven. They live facades. Many of them, their religions ain't helping them. I'm telling you. I don't care if they're Catholic, Christian, they're Muslims, Pentecostal. Them be some of the biggest hypocrites. So now you have awareness as to some of the things and questions that I have heard myself. Don't let it hurt your feelings because I'm doing this video. The narcissism is in their questions. Remember this video when you are asked those questions. Would you return to your ex? They won't call them your abuser. See, that's a red flag too. Because see, if they called that person what they really were, they couldn't even ask the question. So avoid those type of interactions. The future interactions, limit those phone conversations. The enemy works through the phone. The enemy works through video chats. Avoid these things. And the blessing of the narcissism being in their questions is that now you know who your enemies really are. And now you know who your frenemies are and who does not wish you well. Because anyone that sincerely wished you well, one of the last questions they would ask you is, would you return to someone that was a terrorist in your life or a tyrant tyrant in your life. They wouldn't do it. I promise you they wouldn't. I love y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. And take care of them allergies. Never blow your nose with toilet paper. And I no longer use Kleenex. I used to use Kleenex. I've used toilet paper in the past. Fresh rolls of toilet paper. Not toilet paper that's put in the restroom. Just fresh rolls. The lint that comes off the toilet paper and some Kleenexes actually cause more allergies. So I use napkins. And let me tell you the best napkins to use. Starbucks napkins. They're the best. Try those out. The brown napkins. I don't blow my nose or clean my nose with anything white anymore. And that's because of the lint and whatever that is that comes off of that causes me problems. And it could be causing you problems. You just never know. So anyway, I love y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, the narcissism is in their questions. Bye.